And if you don't, you should get some.
Yeah.
Let's say you have a plastic cow like this. I've treated my plastic cow I coated him with white. And now what I want to do is I actually want to make this cow look like something other than just a plastic cow. What I'll do is I'll pick a color, and I'm just going to put a wash over him.
I'm sorry, did you coat him with just titanium white?
Just titanium white.
Not a wash,
just pure titanium. Whenever you use white, or at least the way I use it, I shouldn't say everyone, because you're going to use it differently if you're doing different things. The way I use white is I never use it as a wash, just as a pure, thick paint. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take, well, let's just do it with the Acacias. We'll do the not-so-huge on this. But I'm just going to sort of coat this guy with a not-so-huge wash. Maybe we'll do half and half. So this side I'm going to do not-so-huge. And what's going to happen is, you see how he's already starting to look a lot more interesting?
Yeah.
What's happening is you get to see all the little nooks and crannies, of our little cow guy here.
Oh, right.
Okay? Now, of course, you could also do this, like if you had a metallic paint, you could paint him like silver, do a wash on the silver. He would look kind of like what we got on this stuff here, on our metallic paints. Now, let's take the Gothish black. The reason this Gothish black got developed is I was trying to find sort of a scrimshaw sort of color. Something that was a little bit warmer, but had sort of the same quality as like a scrimshaw, like an almost inky. Oops. Where'd my brown go? More blue. I'll water it down a bit. Okay, so just depending on what you want. If you're looking for more of an ivory effect, that might be the direction you go here. If you're looking for whatever effect you want to call this, that's what you do there. So what you're really relying on, though, that's going to give you these nice effects, has to do with however many bits of texture there are on the thing you paint. Whether it's a little plastic monkey or if it's a plastic Brahma bull. Now, if you have something that hasn't been treated, like if you have a nice big clean piece of plastic and you want to do a wash on it, a lot of times, see, this will stick to this because I already painted it with thick white paint. The white paint actually has a bit of tooth to it. A lot of times, pure plastic, this might have some tooth, but it might not. Like a Barbie doll, if you paint it on the Barbie doll's arms, it might not stick to it. You could always paint it with a matte medium or something to give it some tooth. But there's another way you can address plastic if it's really, really slick. And that is taking more of a pure paint. So let's take, well, I'll tell you what. Here we go. Let's take our good old huge. And what I'm going to do is I'm not going to water this down at all. This is no water. So if you have and this is true with like glass, really slick surfaces that you for some reason can't use a heat gun on, say, what I'll do is I'll coat this guy with a really thick layer of paint. And before it dries, instead of diluting it with water, what I'm going to do is dilute him by wiping it off. So that's really the same kind of concept of things sitting in the nooks and crannies, but how I'm diluting it is I'm subtracting the paint literally by taking the paint away. It really is, I know it sounds weird, but the washes are doing the same kind of thing. The dark stuff staying in the nooks and crannies, the peaks and valleys are losing the pigment. Same kind of thing is happening with the wash. I know it sounds bizarre, but that's what is happening. So you can do that. So slick things, you can always just thick paint, wipe it off. Glass, washes typically don't like glass. It's just going to pool around. It just doesn't work. So what I'll do is, like if you have a glass window, a little piece of glass, coat it thick, dab it off where you want to dab it off. One thing you'll also notice is if you have like drawing on glass, like if you paint little squiggly lines, a lot of times what you'll notice if you try and do like a wash over that, your little squiggly lines are going to start floating away because glass and paint, at least acrylic paint, don't like each other. One way to avoid that is paint your squiggly lines, flip your glass around, and then do your wash on the other side of that. Or you can spray your glass with a fixative. That would be another thing. Okay? Make sense? I'll be here for a few days, so if you didn't get it, don't worry about it. Let me think if is there anything else.